All season, we featured nature. And on this episode, we create some mementos to preserve nature in cards. So first, I've got a card that can be duplicated over and over again. And you can see how absolutely cute this card is. It changes up a little depending on the flower embellishment, but the stamping is a snap. So I'm going to be using a stamp press. And you can see I have a piece of paper, and what I've done is I've laid out my clear stamps exactly as I want them. I'm going to close the stamp press. And when I open it up, those clear stamps have stuck, you can see, to the other side. And now they're backwards, as we know that stamps are supposed to be. So I'm gonna take an ink pad and I'm going to apply some ink onto here. And then I'm simply going to close the press and press. And you can see there's my impression. Now, if I didn't get a good impression, like you can see right there, that's fine. I can re-ink because nothing is moving. This is actually a really strong magnet that's right here, so it's keeping it in place. So I can stamp exactly the same one more time to try to get it. And there you go, there's my thanks. So we did one, but we can certainly do more than one because I've already set everything up. So I simply place the next piece of paper down in the exact same spot. I'm using the grid lines on this paper to make sure that I have it lined up. And you can even see I have some little marks just so that I make sure I get it right. So we're gonna do another one. And you can see that this is a great way to make cards for any holiday or for maybe a wedding, invitations, thank you cards like this one, because again, the process of making them is so easy. You just are doing the same thing over and over again. Isn't that cool? And it's perfect every single time. So once I have stamped all of these thanks, I have a bunch of them here. What I'm gonna do now is you wanna use washi tape or painter's tape, something that's low tack, okay? And then I'm usually not very neat, but what I wanna do is I wanna snip the end because I want this to be a mask that perfectly goes over here and has a nice smooth end. So this tape isn't quite wide enough, which means I'm gonna need two pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead now and overlap those two pieces, and now this is gonna be masked. So I would do that with every single one of my pieces of paper. And I have this one done. And now I also have some marks here because I'm gonna move this up slightly and out of the way. And I'm gonna use my magnet again to hold it in place. And I am using the grid lines to make sure that that's totally straight. I'm gonna peel off the stamps that I've already used and put them aside. And instead, I'm gonna gather this collection of circle stamps. Now I wanna put them face down and think about like, how do I want these arranged? And if the magnet's in the way, just put it in the middle. I think I'm gonna put one here, and then maybe the little one could float there. So once you're happy with the arrangement, again, you're gonna close the stamp press, and you'll see that everything will cling to it. So then I'm gonna use my first color of ink. And I'm gonna go ahead now and ink all of those stamps up with the same color. If you wanted to, you could certainly do different colors at this stage, but I thought of mine almost like how I do screen printing or anything like that, where it's just one color at a time, so you don't really have to think too much about what you're doing. Then I'm gonna go ahead and push it down and make sure that I'm getting a nice impression there. Pull it up. How cool is that? And then I'm ready again, because remember, we're always making multiples, to place the next one down, re-ink this, and guess what? It's gonna look exactly identical to the last one that we did, and I don't really even have to think about it, right? Super duper easy. Check that out. So now we're ready to move on to our next color. So I do like to clean off my stamps just to make sure that none of that old color is left, and I'm using a baby wipe. Once you've cleaned it off, then the next thing you wanna do is you wanna rotate your paper so that it's not exactly in the same spot, okay? And you can even move some of the stamps, adjust where they are if you want, or leave it exactly as it is, totally up to you. Whatever you wanna do, you're the artist. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my next color down. and stamp. And you'll see that some of these stamps overlap each other, and that's awesome. And some of the color is mixed, and that's totally cool. But again, because I have all these markings and this grid, I can place the next one down and get the exact same result the next time. Isn't that cool? So we're gonna do it one more time. And there you go. Cool, right? So now we're ready for our last or our third stamped layer. So again, I'm gonna take a baby wipe and just try to clean off some of that color. And you know what? I might even adjust the placement of some of these stamps. So again, I'm gonna place my paper down, put the magnet down, and then I can eyeball, you know, where do I want this stamp to be? Maybe more towards the center here. But just have a good time with it. Like, don't sweat it. This is supposed to be fun. Crafting is meant to be a good time. And once you're happy with it, again, remembering that you're putting it front side down, close your stamp press, open, make sure that you push everywhere. There you go. Then take your last color of ink, and I've tried to pick colors from nature. Pink, yellow, green, these are all the colors that you would see in flowers. So I'm gonna go ahead, close this. Looks so cool. I'm gonna take the next one, put it down exactly as the other one was. Go ahead and ink it up again. This is fun and easy. And here we go. I'm going to, that magnet's a little there, but I could see that and I was able to move it. There we go. So now we're ready for the super fun part, which is the reveal. So I'm just gonna pull off this tape, and this is why it's important that it's washi tape or painter's tape, something that's very low tack, because otherwise, right, it's just gonna peel the paper off. But you can see that this does not peel the paper off at all. So I would take my time and peel this tape off of both of these to reveal that thanks. Those look great. And now we're ready to add our embellishments. So what I have here are just some dimensional flower embellishments, and you can take some time to decide how you want them placed on there. You could also make your own embellishments like this using twine and embroidery floss and all sorts of stuff like that. Remember that you can also layer embellishments. So I can take one large embellishment and then I can put in the center of it, let's say one small embellishment like this to really customize it. Then the next step is I just have a card here and I'm going to place this on. You can see that we cut it slightly smaller. So whatever color background you use, you really have these special cards. And as a last tip before I go, I just want to say if you stamp a couple plain pieces of paper like this, you can slide them into the envelope and then you basically have a lined envelope that matches your card. So that's a cute way to finish. These cards, you can make so many of them. I hope you'll give it a try.